So today we're going to get back to studying some social studies. We're going to go ahead and go up here and get to question 14, which is about where we left off last time. So, question 14, you're going to see some of these on the test. They're political cartoons, or you might see some posters, um, propaganda posters, and so on. They're going to ask you to look at the poster or picture and then discuss kind of what's going on in it and answer a couple questions or a question based off of it. Um, always with these, look at the picture and then read what it says, because sometimes that'll give you more information, and then just kind of go through and answer the questions as best you can. So this one shows this senator coming out of his office kicking this little guy right here, and it says, "I thought he was a member of a special interest group, but I found out he was only a voter." So with which of the following opinions would the cartoonist agree? So we're looking at the picture and it says people shouldn't have to stand around waiting to see their elected representatives. Okay, well, this guy is the voter. We're assuming this guy's because he has like a cigar and he looks rich, that he's probably the special interest group. So he's the one waiting around to see his senator and his elected representatives. So we're not going to go with that one. Next one, it says senators should pay attention to special interest groups as well as voters. So it's showing him kicking the voter, so he's obviously not paying attention to them equally. So we can go ahead and mark this one off. Special interest groups are treated better than voters by members of Congress. So here's a special interest group guy hanging out. Here's a voter being kicked in the butt. I would say that we're going to go with C, because the senator and the Congress is kicking the voter, treating him pretty poorly. The next one is we're going to go down to number 15, and it's a little essay, and it's, in the late 1800s, industrialization caused a large-scale migration from rural to urban areas in the United States, meaning as cities grew, more people were moving from like farmland to cities and urban areas. So parents who moved to the cities with their children left behind social support of their extended families. In addition, city families found that children who were an asset on the farm because they could work at one time were more of an economic drawback, meaning they were costing money because they weren't working and bringing any money in. So they were just there, causing money because they had to eat and things like that. As a consequence, the birth rate dropped during this period and the average family size shrank. So with the following, which of the following is the best summary of this passage? So industrialization led to increased urbanization in the 1800s. Not necessarily. It doesn't really give that specifically. It says a little bit up here, but that's not the overall gist that the little passage is trying to get across. City families lost the social support. Yeah, they did. But once again, this whole thing, as a summary, is not just about that. It's just one little part of it. Industrialization and urbanization caused many changes in family life in the late 1800s. So that's going to be your answer right here, because that is basically a synopsis of what this is saying. That all these changes happened, several, and they're listed down here, some of them, but not all these together are kind of incorporated in C. So C is your answer because it kind of summarizes this whole paragraph. So then we're going to go up to here, and we're going to look at acts of parliament directed at the American colonies. So this is pre the U.S. becoming an independent country. At this time, it's still under British rule and the Parliament. So they've got several acts here. Each act, is some kind of tariff or something that was imposed on the people of the American colonies by England. So, how did the Declaratory Act differ from all the other acts of Parliament shown in the chart? So, if you do a quick read over these, so you have the Revenue Act or the Sugar Act, it imposed tariffs, which is money on foreign sugar and luxuries to raise money for Great Britain. So anything that was imported, there was a huge tax on it. So this one required that colonists to provide food and shelter for British soldiers, Quartering Act. Stamp Act required that colonists to purchase revenue stamps. So you had to buy a little stamp to go with every legal document, newspaper, anything you did. So they were charging for pretty much every piece of paper. And then you have the Declaratory Act, asserted the right of Parliament to make laws for the colonies. So it's allowing the British government to make laws for the American colonies. Townshend Act imposed new duties on the imports of teas. Once again, this is about money. So the Declaratory Act, how did it differ from all of the other acts? So it's not just one, it's all of them. So it did not involve the quartering of British soldiers. It didn't, but that's only one act, so it does not differ from all of them. It has nothing to do, the Declaratory Act has nothing to do with import and export. And it was enacted long after the other acts. It wasn't, because it was in 1766, and you had the Townshend Act in 1767 and the Stamp Act in 65, so it was only a year different. The answer is going to be C, because it did not impose any direct economic costs. All the other ones, except for the Quartering Act, for the most part, are about money, and even this one, you're providing food and stuff, you're losing money. So your answer is going to be C. The information in this chart would have been most useful for the writing of which of the following documents? So the Declaration of Independence, which explained why the colonies broke away from the Great Britain. The Articles of Confederation, which established a central government consisting of a Congress. The U.S. Constitution, which established the structure of government for newly independent nation. And then Washington's farewell address, in which he warned the new nation of policies and practice he thought unwise. So if you look at these, they're all requiring money of some sort, or imposing laws on the people of the colonies. That was why we rebelled. The American colonies rebelled, was because they were being taxed. They were being forced to do things without any representation in the government and in the parliament. So they wrote up the Declaration of Independence, which declared us an independent nation from Britain, and it explained why the colonies broke away.